And a pleasant good evening from the Palace. Happy to have you with us here tonight on the Cool Sports Network, getting you ready for 63rd District Volleyball as the 20-9 Raceland Rams entertain the 9-19 Greenup County Musketeers. And a lot on the line here tonight for the Rams as an uncharacteristic loss by Russell to Lewis County earlier about a week ago. That opened up the district for Raceland to be in the driver's seat. If they win out, they're the district champs and the number 1 seed in the upcoming district tournament. But they got to take care of things here tonight. Looking ahead, they've got senior night here Monday night against Lewis County. Can they take care of business, first off, against Greenup County, who comes into tonight's game as a loser in their last two? They fell to Ironton on Monday. Last time out, they got swept by Lewis County. They currently sit at 1-4 in the district. And a loss here tonight would lock in Greenup County at the 4 seed if they are already not locked in. Actually, they are already locked in. Lewis County is setting with 1 game to go. But for Raceland at 20-9, a very big win for them over East Carter on Monday night, in which they swept the Raiders after kind of battling back and forth in set number 1, and they just rocked through the rest of it and emptied it out in straight sets. These two teams met earlier this year, in which Greenup County entertained Raceland back on September the 12th. That was a 3-1 win by the Rams. They split the first 2 sets, and then Raceland won sets 3 and 4, 25-20, 25-22. A good battle back and forth, 27-25 in set 1. And then Greenup County took set 2, 25-20. And then Raceland closed out sets 3 and 4. Raceland is, again, still trying to get some pieces moving the way that it wants. And a new libero that they've been working on now for going on about the 2nd week of Reagan Mackey. And she's really had things moving well. When she gets things moving and gets the ball up front, that's when this offense works well for Raceland. They'll have a pair of setters that'll work between Sophie Hell, and Cody Haddix. And especially with Haddix, when she gets up front and starts directing traffic, this offense gets really good. It starts at the net with Elizabeth Rigsby. She's been so big up front with the kills, but also with the blocking ability. And she's got pieces to go around with her. Of course, Shaylee Holbrook has been big at the net for the Rams. She comes in 2nd on the team in kills with 144. Faye Spurlock has been playing big, as has Gracie Reed. And a player that's stepped up over the last couple of weeks, coming up off the JV roster, Skylar Brown-Morris. She's been able to go to the outside pins and play well. Her services here tonight will certainly be called upon for this Raceland team to advance into win number 21. Rams with their 20th win, the first time since 2016 that they've gone over 20 wins. That was when they went 30-5 and fell in the 2nd round of the state tournament back when they were pretty much the head of the class of the 16th region. So Greenup and Raceland finishing out their pregame festivities, and we will have, I'm not certain if we're going to announce the starters or not. I know we will have a national anthem. But our 2 officials for tonight on the stand will be Dave Anderson. Our down official will be Charles Baker. You will have 2 flag officials that are actual referees, not people that are teammates or out of the crowd, because this is a district matchup. So you will see 4 blue jerseys signifying the officials that are on the crowd or on the game here tonight. All right, we'll take a break for the national anthem. When we return, Greenup County and Raceland in volleyball action coming at you right after this on the Cool Hits Sports Network.
Uncle Rick, what are you doing?
I'm trying to stay cooler in my man cave.
Well, this is a beer cave, and you can't stay in this cooler forever.
But Clark's Pub and Shop can get you through the dog days of summer.
Whether it's fountain drinks at the lowest price or you're filling up the cooler for the family and friends, Clark's has the widest selection, the best prices, and the most helpful staff you'll find anywhere.
Beat the heat at Clark's Pub and Shop.
Return, refresh, refuel.
When you have business away from home or a planned event far from your comfort zone, you're probably going to need a little help. Let A&A Porta Potties assist you with all your portable toilet needs. Whether on a construction site, planning for an outdoor wedding, or any other outdoor event, A&A Porta Potties are here to assist you. A&A Porta Potties also rents out storage containers, office containers, cooling fans, tables, and chairs. A&A Porta Potties, there is no event too big or too small for us to accommodate you.
Uncle Rick, what are you doing?
I'm trying to stay cooler in my man cave.
Well, this is a beer cave, and you can't stay in this cooler forever.
But Clark's Pub and Shop can get you through the dog days of summer.
Whether it's fountain drinks at the lowest price or you're filling up the cooler for the family and friends, Clark's has the widest selection, the best prices, and the most helpful staff you'll find anywhere.
Beat the heat at Clark's Pub and Shop.
Return, refresh, refuel.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Back here at the Palace, ready for volleyball action between Greenup and Raceland. James Carr, happy to have you along with us here tonight on the Cool Hits Sports Network. Greenup will be on the left of your screen in the black and green tonight. Raceland on the right of your screen in the black and orange. Across the bottom of your screen is your set score. Up in the top left hand, that'll be the match score. Again, we play best of 5, so the first to 3 wins. Each of the first 4 sets, you play to 25. If you go to the fifth and deciding set, only to 15 on that one. Price of poker goes up a little bit on that one as points become very, very critical each and every swing. We will have liberos for both teams this evening. So for Greenup County, it will be Courtney Stevens. She'll be in the white top with the gold stripes. Raceland will have Reagan Mackey on the white top with the black sleeves. Greenup County will serve first. And we are ready to get this match underway. Service near sideline, and that one falls in for the ace. As Allison Gordon puts it down for the first point, and Greenup County jumps out to a 1-0 lead. High service to the far sideline. Here's Haddix, comes up to Rigsby. Rigsby goes deep with the attack, and it's out of bounds on the back line, 2-0. Gordon with the lofting serve to the back row. Holbrook, this time Reed. Reed with a big swing at the net. It'll be a free ball lofted over by the Musketeers. There's Mackey. Over to Haddix. Haddix leaves it for Rigsby down the pipe, and she drives it through, but it's out of bounds. Just past the line. The official was there, as was Allie Suttles, the head coach for the Musketeers. Hang on, they called the point out, and Raceland has the ball. So Elizabeth Rigsby talking with Dave Anderson, asking if it was a tipped ball. So none was given, so the point goes and stays with the Musketeers. They lead at 3-0. And that ball is out of bounds, so a service error. Sign out Raceland. Hale comes off. On comes Brown Morris, and Cody Haddix back to the service line for the Rams, who trail this one 3-1 here in set 1. Good service. Gordon takes it off to the far sideline, and that's a block at the net by Elizabeth Rigsby. On the swing there was Carly Fannin. 3-2. Rams down by 1. Good service there by Haddix. Free ball sent over. Haddix on the far sideline. Here's Mackey with a bump up front. Brown Morris with a push. Back to Brown Morris. She'll fire it across through the block. It stays ahead with a free ball. Here's Haddix. Brown Morris lobs it across. Here's Haddix with a set onto the far sideline. Reed with a big swing. That hit the antenna. That's considered out of bounds, and the point goes to Greenup County. Off for the Musketeers is Hatfield. Checking in for Greenup is Lexi Jenkins. And back to the service line is Lucy Roy. Roy, a lofting service. Mackey on the back row. Here's Haddix taking it out to Reed. Reed with the attack. It's dug out, but sent right back over. This time they'll come back to a big swing there by Elizabeth Rigsby, and she fires that one home with authority for the point. 4-3 as the Rams side out. And Gracie Reed will go back to the service line. Mackey steps off. In comes Faith Spurlock. She'll work on the near side pin. Reed with a service error as she fires that one into the face of the net. She'll step off. Mackey back in. On now for Greenup County is Peyton Powell. She'll replace the libero. And a nice service there, scrambling for the Rams, but Lakin Russell's going to pick up the ace. As that was a ball that flew across the net and then took a hard dive downward. There's Mackey. Haddix leaves it to Spurlock. She'll lob it across. Diving save on the back row. Here's a tip ball. Nice drop there by Peyton Powell. 7-3 Musketeers. Lakin Russell back to the service. Deep service. Haddix lobs it across. It comes right back over. Haddix will push it to the back corner. A diving save. Fannin lobs it across for the Musketeers. Here's Haddix. She'll bring it back up to Rigsby, and Rigsby pounds it down with authority again. That's in system, and that's a point. And Rigsby back to the service line. 7-4 here in set one. Rams trailing the Musketeers. Running overhand service by Rigsby, and that's an ace into the crowd on the near sideline. Leads down to 2. Rigsby back to work. Another nice service. Here's a free ball lofted over. There's Rigsby on the back row up to Haddix. Haddix goes to Brown Morris. She'll go cross court, but it's dug out on the front row. Gordon sends it across. Here's Holbrook. Boom with authority as she pounds it down through the double play defense on the back line. And the lead's down to 1, 7-6. Shaylee Holbrook, her first kill of the match. Swing at the net and getting that one through. And for the point was Lakin Russell. Side out Greenup County. They lead it by 2, and Carly Fannin back to the line. Shayla Newman checking in. She receives the service. Here's Spurlock, and Spurlock fires it through, but it's picked from the back row. Greenup County can't get it across. And they'll side out and pick up the point, make it 8-7. So Skylar Brown Morris will rotate back to do the service. Trying to pick up the first tie in the first set. Good service by her. There's an attack on the front row. Mackey digs it out. Haddix will lob it across. All the way to the back row to Stevens. Back up front. A nice push. Mackey pushed it across, but it was at the net. It's back in favor of the Rams. There's Spurlock with a touch. They'll push it off to the far sideline. Haddix. Mackey from the back row. Big swing by the Musketeers. Brown Morris off the tip. Spurlock on a free ball. There's Stevens on the dive from the back row. They'll go off to the far sideline. Spurlock picks it up front. Mackey out of the deep back row. There's Brown Morris. Now Haddix up to Holbrook. Holbrook through the block attempt. It's picked by the Musketeers. A good volley here, and this one lobbed back over by the Haddix, but Greenup County gets in the net on the far sideline as they'll get the net violation on Lakin Russell, and we're tied at 8. A chance for the Rams to take their first lead of the match. Good service there by Brown Morris. At the net, blocked up by Holbrook, and we're in front for the Rams by 1, 9-8. As Peyton Powell tried to go up, and Holbrook rejected it to give the Rams their first lead of the contest. Gordon. Cross-court attack there by the Musketeers. Spurlock lobs it across. There's Stevens on the back row. And that time, Gordon couldn't control the set. Greenup County out in front now. Or check that, Greenup County trailing now, 10-8 here in set 1. Brown Morris, Stevens on the back row. Scrambling are the Musketeers, and they're not going to get this one across. As they got caught in between, Peyton Powell sent it straight up in the air, but the point goes to the Rams, and they lead this one by 3 now, 11-8. Skylar Brown Morris coming right at you on your screen. And that one's deep, just out of bounds, as Stevens had to do a little side bend to let that one fly out of bounds. So Lakin Russell will go back for the service. Lucy Roy coming on as she'll replace Molly Keys. Brown Morris is off. Sophie Hale back in. There's Shayla Newman on the back row. Here's Haddix up front, up to Holbrook, and a nice little touch with the left hand. Put it in softly for the point, 12-9. And Faith Spurlock to the service line. Mackey steps off, and back in is Gracie Reed. Keys also back on. Here's a big swing at the net, dug out by Shayla Newman. It goes all the way back across to the Musketeers. They'll take this one off to Roy. There's Hale as she tries to play that one and gets it a little bit too deep. Give the point to the Musketeers, and they trail at 12-10. And Peyton Powell for the service for the Musketeers. Good service. Hale on the back row to Haddix. Free ball lofted over by Reed. Here's a bump up front by Gordon. A free ball lofted over by Roy. Haddix sets it up. She'll push it across on 2. Greenup County scrambling. They'll get it across, and a nice little touch there by Lakin Russell. Drops it between the defensive adjustment by the Rams and picks up the point. So now it's down to a 1-point lead for the Rams. Peyton Powell back to the service line. Haddix with a nice save up front. Holbrook pounds it through, though. It got left at the net, and Shaylee Holbrook rises up and puts it down. Rigsby back in. Newman steps off. 13-11 Rams here in set 1. And Holbrook to the service line. Good service, deep. Fannin. Over to Gordon, a free ball by Stevens. There's Rigsby, off to Haddix. She brings it back up to Rigsby, and Rigsby puts it through. Didn't get all of it, but she found the perfect placement. And the Rams in front by 3, 14-11. Good service there. Fannin. Off to Gordon. Free ball by Roy. And that one's deep and out of bounds. So a 4-point lead, the largest for the Rams, as that one kicks over the steps and up into the vestibule. And a timeout requested by the Musketeers. Back in 60 seconds on the Cool Hit Sports Network.
Uncle Rick, what are you doing?
I'm trying to stay cooler in my man cave.
Well, this is a beer cave, and you can't stay in this cooler forever.
But Clark's Pub and Shop can get you through the dog days of summer.
Whether it's fountain drinks at the lowest price or you're filling up the cooler for the family and friends, Clark's has the widest selection, the best prices, and the most helpful staff you'll find anywhere.
Beat the heat at Clark's Pub and Shop.
Return, refresh, refuel.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Back here at the Palace, and a big block by Elizabeth Rigsby at the net, 16-11. Big thanks to all of our sponsors, Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State, A&A Porta Potties, and River City's Builders. There's a free ball sent over, and that one's out of bounds deep. And the lead's out to 6 as it continues to grow. Holbrook ready to go. Good service there. Greenup tries to get it across. It gets stuck on the top of the tape and falls back on the Musketeer side of the court. Point Raceland. It's 18-11. Fannin on the far side. Roy. Free ball sent over by Russell. Here's Haddix with a save. Here's Rigsby, and she got up a little bit too soon on that one and fires it into the net. So the attack error on Raceland gives the ball back to Greenup. They trail it 18-12, and Molly Keys to the service line. And that one's out of bounds. Excuse me, that was Allison Gordon. Hard to see the numbers on the jerseys. So the point goes to Raceland, 19-12, and Cody Haddix back to the line. Brown Morris, Rigsby, and Reed up front. Free ball sent over. There's Haddix. She pokes it back up and is going to get the kill. She's a little ninja. She came up and tried to get a quick running set. It tipped the tape, and as Greenup County threw their hands up to try to play on it, it went right off their hands and out of bounds. Nice receive there by the Musketeers up front. A big swing at the net by Russell. That one's out of bounds. It's a 9-point lead for the Rams, 21-12. Checks that. They're going to say that the ball was touched on a tip ball, so 20-13, side out and back to Greenup County it goes. And Lucy Roy to the line. Holbrook, Haddix up front. Reed, cross-court attack. Stevens on the back row. Stevens on a free ball. There's Mackey. Near side, Brown Morris. And Brown Morris rises up and puts it down for the point. 21-13. Gracie Reed to the service line. Back in is Faith Spurlock as Mackey will step off. Rams trying to close it out here in set one. Russell puts it across and drops it in for the point off the tip from Brown Morris. Stevens checking out, and back on for Greenup County is Peyton Powell. Lakin Russell for the service. Mackey. Here's Holbrook from the back line. Greenup scrambling. It's going to have to be a free ball, and they're not going to get it across. So point Raceland, they'll side out. They lead at 22-14 and 3 points away from closing it out here in the first set. Elizabeth Rigsby back to work. Great serve on the far sideline. A great diving save there by the Musketeers. Big swing at the net by Powell. Haddix with a free ball. And that one's out of bounds right in front of the Greenup bench. And Allie Suttles Rigsby off, Newman back in. 22-15 here in set one. And Carly Fannin. Here's Haddix up front. Leaves it off to Brown Morris. Brown Morris blocked at the net. Holbrook digs it out. Haddix will fire it across. That's Fannin on the back row. Here's Stevens on a bump up front, a push ball. Haddix brings it near side to Spurlock. And Spurlock into the net. 22-16, leads down to 6. Carly Fannin back to work for the Musketeers. Deep service. Newman out of the back row. Haddix. That's Mackey, and she launches a dart right into the face of the net. Leads down to 5. Greenup's done a good job of getting Raceland out of system these last couple of points. Here's Fannin. Haddix with a quick bump at the net. Diving save there by Mackey. Spurlock on the cross court. Back up front with a big swing. There's Haddix that digs it out. Mackey brings it up. Holbrook on a free ball. That's Keys. Off to Gordon. And then a free ball. Nope. They'll get a 2-ball on Greenup County. So the point goes to Raceland. It's 23-17. And Brown Morris trying to serve this first set out and take a 1-0 lead in the match. Good service. Keys off of her hands and out of bounds. Service ace Brown Morris. And it's set point for the Rams here in set one. 24-17. Good service. Keys up to Gordon. A tip over on the near side by Peyton Powell. That was a nice placement by her. And she picks up the point. Back into the service for Greenup County as Alexi Jenkins, but it remains set point for the Rams. 24-18 here in set one. Good service. There's Mackey. Haddix back up front to Holbrook. Holbrook runs it deep. There's Fannin. Far side, Roy. Haddix scrambling. Comes to Spurlock. Spurlock lofts it across. High up into the arcing skies. It's out of bounds. And Raceland takes set number one, 25-18. Set two when we return after this on the Cool Hits Sports Network.
Uncle Rick, what are you doing?
I'm trying to stay cooler in my man cave.
Well, this is a beer cave, and you can't stay in this cooler forever.
But Clark's Pub and Shop can get you through the dog days of summer.
Whether it's fountain drinks at the lowest price or you're filling up the cooler for the family and friends, Clark's has the widest selection, the best prices, and the most helpful staff you'll find anywhere.
Beat the heat at Clark's Pub and Shop.
Return, refresh, refuel.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Set one goes to the Rams. They lead it 1-0. If you look at the top left hand of your screen, you'll notice the match score. Bottom of the screen, that is your set score. Best of 5, first 1 to 3 wins the match. I'll be back with you here at the Palace on Monday night for senior night. That one will be a big one as the Rams bring in Lewis County, who knocked off Russell last week, about end of last week, I should say. So what that does is it puts Raceland in the driver's seat. If they can win here tonight, win on Monday night, they're the district champs, and they'll be the top seed in the upcoming district tournament that will play up at Lewis County, and then the regional tournament will play over at Ashland. And we will have coverage for you in the regional tournament from Ashland. We will not have coverage for the district due to the proximity of the tournament. So we will be working some things out on the region. We'll pass all that along to you as we have it. This week, Raceland football on the road. They've got Betsy Lane. I'll be with you on audio only. No live streaming on that one due to the long trip that we're taking down toward Pikeville. But I'll be with you tomorrow night, 7:10, right here on the Coed Sports Network. 7:30 will be the kickoff. Back with you next Friday night from Fairview. That one will be on Cool TV. And then, of course, the big one in 2 weeks after this week is Paintsville here at Rams Stadium. And that one should be your de facto district championship. All of those games on Cool TV. If you haven't followed along with us on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And then on the bottom of that, hit the little bell there. We're at 499 subscribers. Can we get to 500 tonight? We shall see. We appreciate all of our sponsors, Clark's Pump and Shops, 8A Porta Potties, River Cities Builders, as well as all the great followers here of Raceland Worthington Athletics. A fully produced broadcast tonight. I've got two of my students from my media class taking care of everything. So Mason May, he's got the controls on the production side as the executive producer, and Hunter Masters taking care of the camera work tonight. Doing a fabulous job, as always. So getting things squared away with the rotations. Coach Charles Baker on the far sideline trying to work everything out for Greenup County, making certain that they've got everybody where they are supposed to be. Raceland will start things off with the service in this set. So the libero for Greenup County of Courtney Stevens coming on. Off goes Lakin Russell. Got a player on the floor for Greenup County that I do not have a number for. See if we can get that. But underway, here we go. Set number 2 is underway. There's Holbrook on the back row. Haddix leaves it off to Reed. Reed fires it to the back row. Here's Roy. Taps it across, and they got Reed in the net. So the point goes to Greenup County. They lead at 1-0. And that one's right on the line on the far side. Drop it in for the ace. I can't tell you who it is because the name is not on the roster. I have no idea. Back to work she goes. Here's Haddix. Comes back to Brown Morris. Brown Morris with a cross-court attack in the kill. And the Rams are on the board. It's 2-1. Reagan Mackey to the service line for the first time this evening. Wearing those cotton candy shoes that she always dons on the floor. High arcing serve. Stevens on the back row. Here's a bump off to Fannin. Fannin with the attack. Big swing by her. Dug out by Mackey. And Haddix is set a little bit too far to the near side as she fires it up into the stand. Occupied by our official Dave Anderson. And the point goes to Greenup County. They lead at 3-1. Lucy Roy back to the service line now. Mackey can't play that one. Haddix tried to get to it, but put it down for an ace for Roy, and it's a 4-1 Greenup County lead. Mackey plays this one nicely up to Haddix. Rigsby lofts it across and drops that one through the double team. That was both looking at the ball. Neither was able to play it. So the point drops in for Raceland, and they trail at 4-2. Rigsby off. Shaylin Newman checks in for her first action from the service line tonight. Newman, a defensive specialist for the Rams, one of the 4 seniors. Greenup County on a free ball by Fannin. There's Mackey. Brown Morris on the far sideline. Free ball lofted over by the Musketeers. Haddix up front. Leaves that one up for Holbrook. She'll push it across, and a nice save for the moment by the Musketeers, but they can't put it down. And it falls in for the point, and the Rams trail by 1. Here's a push up front, and Peyton Powell pushes it right into Brown Morris. She can't play it cleanly. Point goes to Greenup County. They side out, and they lead at 5-3. And Powell back to the service line. Good service. Mackey on the back row. Haddix goes to Brown Morris. Morris on the antenna. That's out of bounds. And the Musketeers doubling up the Rams here in set 2, 6-3. Newman. Here's Haddix. Touches it off near side to Spurlock. And a big swing there by Faith Spurlock as she drives it off the hands of Molly Keys for the point. Out goes Powell. Back on is Courtney Stevens. Brown Morris steps off, and Sophie Hale on. She'll go to the service line. There's a bump up front, and the attack is well out of bounds by Lakin Russell. Point Raceland, 6-5. The lead is down to 1. Free ball by the Musketeers, lofted across. Maddox with a save. Here's Spurlock. To the back row, Stevens. A touch across, and a nice touch at that by Maria Marisi. Just put her hand up and lofted across, and it stayed just on the near sideline and drops in for the point. So the point goes down for the Musketeers. Carly Fannin for the service, leading by 2. Here's Haddix up front. Up to Holbrook, and a big swing for the point through the block attempt by the Musketeers. Side out Raceland, and they trail by 1. Face Spurlock back for the service. There's Keys. Russell blocked at the net by Holbrook, and we're even at 7. Good service, clipped the tape as it went across. Free ball by the Musketeers. Here's Reed trying to run and save it, and it goes out of bounds, and the point goes to Greenup. They lead at 8-7. Spurlock off, Mackey back on. And Maria Marisi to the service line for the first time tonight. Mackey, Haddix back up front to Holbrook. Holbrook with a big swing. There's Fannin on the back row. Here's Roy. Holbrook to Haddix. She's coming back to her near side this time. A big swing there, dug out by Stevens on the back row. Running save by Russell. Haddix back up front, leaves it for Holbrook, and Holbrook pounds it down for the point. We're tied at 8. Great movement there by the Musketeers, but Raceland combated it and got it into the system that they wanted for the point. Newman off, Rigsby back on, and Shaylee Holbrook back for the service for the Rams. There's a big swing at the net, and a big block at the net by Elizabeth Rigsby. As she puts it back to Lakin Russell, postage unpaid, point Raceland. That's an ace. Stevens started to play it. She moved for Fannin. Neither could get there, so ace Holbrook in a 2-point lead for the Rams, and this is kind of how set 1 played out. Greenup opened up a nice lead, and then Raceland got on a nice run. Here's Russell at the net. Diving attempt by Mackey, but Russell gets it through and puts it down for the point. Leads down to 1 now. And Lakin Russell back for the service for Greenup County. And that's an ace as it goes off the hands of Hale and ricochets across the court. We're even at 10. Raceland in front of the match, 1-0. We're tied at 10 here in set 2. There's Mackey on the back row. Here's Haddix up to Rigsby. A big swing through the block attempt of Powell. Side out Rams, and they lead at 11-10. And Cody Haddix back to the service line. Hale off, Brown Morris back on. Stevens. Free ball lofted over by her. That's Haddix up front now. Reed with a cross-court attack, and that's through the block attempt of Roy at the net for the point. And the lead's back to 2 for the Rams. 12-10 here in set 2. Good service there by Haddix. Stevens saves it on the near sideline. Free ball sent over. And as Powell trying to loft it across, she gets it too wide. That's got Bill Farley chasing that one down the locker room entrance for the boys basketball team. 3-point lead for the Rams, their largest here in the set. Back here Monday night for senior night as the Lewis County Lions visit the Palace. Game time scheduled for 7 p.m. You can catch all the action right here on Cool TV. Big swing at the net, dug out by Haddix. She'll loft it across. Here's Roy on the far side. Tries to go cross court, and she gets it on the top of the net, and it won't fall through. 4-point lead for the Rams. They start to open up here in set 2. 14-10, leading the match 1-0. Good service by Haddix. Here's Rigsby, pushes it across, but it's wide. She found the opening she wanted to go to. She got it over top of everyone, but it was just wide of the line on the near sideline. Brown Morris through the block attempt of Powell. She picks up the kill, 15-11. Now Reagan Mackey to the line. Good service. Powell over to Fannin. Fannin with a push ball. There's Mackey. Haddix comes near sideline to Spurlock. Spurlock with a touch. It's blocked. It's pushed back over. There's Holbrook. Now off to Brown Morris. Brown Morris through the double block. Roy. Back row Stevens. Free ball. Brown Morris tries to get it across, but she can't control it. Haddix got that one a little bit too far out. Lucy Roy back to the line now for Greenup, down by 3. Nice diving save there by Mackey. And Raceland got tangled up on the communication as Holbrook came forward as Brown Morris was going backward, and Holbrook pounded it off of her face on a bump attempt. So the point goes down for Greenup County. And they trail it by 2. There's Holbrook, Haddix up front. And that's a 2-ball. That's a true 2-ball. You don't see many of them that you can call that easily. That one was simple. 2 balls when the ball strikes one hand and then the other. As they try to set, they can't have a gap between the two. And Fannin goes with the joust of Haddix at the net. She gets it through, and we're even at 15. Lucy Roy back to work, trying to regain the lead, and that time it goes off the side of her hand into the net. Point Raceland, they're back in front by 1. And Shayla Newman will come on for Rigsby, and she'll go back to the line for the service. Raceland would love to take it 2 games and unlead in the match here. Has a great opportunity if they can close things out. Greenup County trying to claw its way back into this one. There's Mackey on the back row, Haddix up front. Here's Spurlock through the double block attempt as she pounds it off the hands of Powell out of bounds for the point, 17-15. Keys, a little bit too stiff off of her hands into the net. It's an ace for Newman, and the lead's back to 3 for the Rams. There's Keys. Push ball up front, diving save by Mackey. Newman digs it out. Here's Haddix. Comes back to Spurlock. Spurlock on a touch. Nice dig. Keys off to Fannin. Free ball sent over. Back row Newman. Here's Haddix. Mackey will step forward on a free ball. Stevens from the back row. Here's a block at the net by Holbrook as Powell gets rejected. And it's a 4-point lead for the Rams, now 19-15 here in set 2. Raceland has been big at the net tonight. High lofting serve. There's Powell with a big swing. Nice dig by Haddix out the back, and she picks up the point. Cody Haddix with the dig from the back row. And it's been that kind of night for the Rams. And Haddix will take a few smiles on that one as Newman back to work, leading by 5 now. Here's Stevens. Free ball by Fannin. That one crawls across the tape and falls in. Doesn't matter how it gets across, just if it gets across. And Carly Fannin got the favorable roll on that one for the point, 20-16. And Peyton Powell back for the Musketeers for the service. Good service. Here's Haddix up front, comes near side to Spurlock. Spurlock cross the court. Mackey back row, Haddix back to Spurlock. There's Keys. Ball up front. Nice dig there by Haddix. Raceland can't play it off the net, and the point goes down for Greenup County. It's down to 3. 20-17. Here in set 2. Musketeers trying to even things up at 1 apiece in the match. Powell puts it in the air. Newman. Haddix up front on a push. Nice save by her on the back row. Diving save by Haddix. Mackey on a push. Here's Fannin. Taps it across. Haddix lops it up in the air. Brown Morris saves it back in. Holbrook on a free ball. What a volley. Here's Fannin with a big swing. And that one's down for the point as Reagan Mackey tries to dive and save, but she can't get there. Nice cross-court attack there by Carly Fannin. And it's down to 2. What a volley that was. Brown Morris to Haddix at the net. Holbrook fires it down for the point as she pounds it off the chest of Molly Keys. Side out Raceland. They lead it now by 3. Brown Morris off. Sophie Hale on for the service. Trying to take a commanding 2 games and on the lead here in this one. And Stevens can't save it off of Keys. It's an ace for Hale. 22-18. It leads back to 4. Senior night coming up for the Rams on Monday night. They've got Lewis County coming in. We'll have the coverage right here on Cool TV. There's a free ball by Keys. That one's almost out of here. That one was almost up into the vestibule there in front of the concession stand. High arcing serve. Stevens on the back row. There's Russell as she goes cross court and puts it home for the point. And a side out for the Musketeers. Nice placement by her there. 23-19. Greenup County down by 4. And Carly Fannin to the line. Here's Haddix. Free ball by Newman. High arcing ball just over the net. Mackey back row. Haddix comes near sideline to Spurlock. And Keys can't play it as Spurlock puts it down for the kill. And it's set point for the Rams. Faith Spurlock will go to the service line. Mackey off. Back in is Gracie Reed. trying to take a commanding 2-0 lead. Good service. Call it an ace. And a 2-0 lead for the Rams here at the Palace. Set 3 when we continue after this on the Cool Hit Sports Network.
Uncle Rick, what are you doing?
I'm trying to stay cooler in my man cave.
Well, this is a beer cave, and you can't stay in this cooler forever.
But Clark's Pub and Shop can get you through the dog days of summer.
Whether it's fountain drinks at the lowest price or you're filling up the cooler for the family and friends, Clark's has the widest selection, the best prices, and the most helpful staff you'll find anywhere.
Beat the heat at Clark's Pub and Shop.
Return, refresh, refuel.
When you have business away from home or a planned event far from your comfort zone, you're probably going to need a little help. Let A&A Porta Potties assist you with all your portable toilet needs. Whether on a construction site, planning for an outdoor wedding, or any other outdoor event, A&A Porta Potties are here to assist you. A&A Porta Potties also rents out storage containers, office containers, cooling fans, tables, and chairs. A&A Porta Potties, there is no event too big or too small for us to accommodate you.
Uncle Rick.
Getting ready to go to set 3 here at the Palace. Rams leading the match 2-0. James Carr, happy to have you along with us here tonight on Cool TV. Our executive producer, Mason May. On cameras, Hunter Masters. Both doing a fabulous job. Members of my media team here at Raceland Worthington High School as part of RNN, Raceland News Network. Some great things getting ready to roll out from the students. And it's that's one thing I will say as getting the program up and running here and then letting them just take off and do some great things. And from my intro to media class with my 8th graders all the way up to my high school kids, they've been phenomenal. And they're about ready to take that next step forward, and I can't wait to see what they can. They're doing some phenomenal things here at Raceland Worthington High School, and I'm glad to be a part of it. So the Rams in front, 2-0. They win set 1, 25-18, 25-19 in set 3. Greenup County will serve to open up the 3rd set. Again, the score across the bottom is your set score. Up in the top left, that is your match score. Playing to the best of 3, so the Musketeers will need 3 consecutive now to come back for a victory. Rams in action tomorrow night down in the mountains. They'll head to Betsy Lane. First time ever that the Rams have played down there. They've played Betsy Lane 3 times, but due to the COVID year, that was the year they were supposed to go there. That was canceled, and they did not play. So this will be the first ever trip down there. I'll be on the road with the Rams tomorrow night. 7:10, our pregame coverage on Countdown to Kickoff begins. Audio only tomorrow night, no live streaming due to the long distance down there. So we'll have the coverage on the Cool Hit Sports Network app. And then next Friday night over in Westwood at Fairview, we will have Cool TV live streaming on that one. And then back home in 2 weeks at Rams Stadium and the big matchup with Paintsville for what should be a shot at the district title and home field advantage through those first 2 weeks of the playoffs. So Greenup County on the left of your screen in the black and gold tonight. Raceland in the orange and black on the right. Greenup County will serve set 3 as Addison Gordon puts it in the air and off we go. Here's Haddix up to Rigsby. Rigsby with a big swing. Nice dig out at the net. Rigsby fires it back across, and they'll get a net violation on Raceland, so the point goes in for Greenup County. 1-0, they lead it here in set 3, excuse me. Here's Haddix, near side to Reed. Reed with a big swing. There's Stevens on the back row. Powell tries to put it up, but it's a little bit too high and out of bounds. We're even at 1. Greenup County has led from the word go in all 3 sets. This is the closest that Raceland has been in the start of a set in either of the three. Cody Haddix with a dart across the tape for the ace. Stevens tries to dive underneath it for the point, but she can't get it. And the Rams in front now 2-1. Raceland looking for win number 21 on the season. More importantly, a 4-1 mark in districts. There's Brown Morris. There's Haddix. Pushes across on the far sideline, and that one's down for the point. Chelsea DeLong, the assistant coach for the Musketeers, trying to put a fist to it and poke it back across. That's not in play. And the Rams lead this one by 2. Here's Stevens. Bumps it up toward the front. Powell lobs it across. There's Haddix. Here's Mackey. Near side, Brown Morris. Stevens with a dive. She'll poke it back across. There's Haddix. Here's Mackey with a set over to Reed on a free ball. Back up front. Ball tipped at the net. Rigsby fires it back across. There's Powell. Free ball pushed over by the Musketeers. Haddix up at the net. And she's blocked by Powell at the net. The only play she had was try to go over on the ninja kill. And unfortunately, she had Peyton Powell's long arms right there that blocked that one away. So side out for the Musketeers. And in for the first time tonight is Abby Johnson. Haddix out to Reed. Reed with a cross-court attack and the kill as she goes through the double block of Fannin and Powell. Johnson off. Back on is Molly Keys, and Gracie Reed back to the line for the Rams. That's a dart to the near sideline. That may get up here with us. Call it an ace as it gets into the Greenup fans. 5-2, Rams lead it here in set 3. Reed back to work. Good diving save on the far sideline. Here's Fannin. Blocked at the net as Rigsby sends it away for the point. 6-2. Rams lead it by 4 here in set number 3. Reed coming right at you on your screen. Ball near sideline by Spurlock is out of bounds. (6-3). Greenup County leads it or trails it here in set number 3. And Powell with the service. Good service over the tape there. And a push there by Cody Haddix. This time she got it down. She's been trying to get that shot down all night long. And that one goes down for the point. And Rigsby back to the service line. Leading 7-3 here in set 3. Good service there. That one's back up at the net. And Holbrook fires it up. Greenup County tries to get it back across but can't do so. And a point for the Rams. They lead at 8-3 now. Good service. Free ball sent over by Russell. There's Mackey. Haddix comes off to Spurlock. Spurlock, Keys. Back up to Gordon. There's Rigsby out of the back row. Haddix goes out to Brown Morris. Brown Morris with the attack and the point. As Gordon tried to dig it out, could not do so. 6-point lead for the Rams here in set 3. Rigsby with that running overhand service. Stevens out of the back row, all the way back across to Mackey. Here's Haddix. Taps it across. Russell. Big swing, blocked at the net by Holbrook. And then Fannin tries to lob it across, but she knocks it out of bounds. What a big block by Holbrook. We've seen the block up front many times, and Greenup County wants a timeout. 10-3 here in set 3. We're back after this on the Cool Hit Sports Network.
Uncle Rick, what are you doing?
I'm trying to stay cooler in my man cave.
Well, this is a beer cave, and you can't stay in this cooler forever.
But Clark's Pub and Shop can get you through the dog days of summer.
Whether it's fountain drinks at the lowest price or you're filling up the cooler for the family and friends, Clark's has the widest selection, the best prices, and the most helpful staff you'll find anywhere.
Beat the heat at Clark Stop and Shop.
Return, refresh, refuel.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Out of the timeout. Good service by Rigsby and the Rams. Haddix tried to save it. She nearly ran over Charles Baker on the far sideline. She couldn't get it back in, so the point goes to Greenup County. They trail 10-4. Carly Fannin back to the service line. Rigsby off. Shayla Newman on for the Rams. And Fannin for the service. That's Newman out in the back row. Here's Haddix off to Brown Morris. Brown Morris cross-court attack, dug out there by Fannin. There's Russell. Newman on the back row, now to the front on a free ball by Haddix. Stevens saves the ball. It's probably out of bounds, and Greenup County's not going to be able to find the point. That one was out of bounds. She tried to chase it down and gives Raceland a point. Here's Sophie Hale coming back on. She'll replace Brown Morris, and she'll go to the service line. Rams lead this one 2-0 in the match. Trying to close it out in straight sets here at home at the Palace. Pick up win number 21. Haddix with a nice dig. Spurlock pushes it across. There's Keys. Big swing up front as Russell's attack goes out of bounds on the back line, and the point goes to the Rams. 12-4, they lead it by 8. Point here would match their largest lead in the match of 9. That was at 21-12 back in set number 1. Here's a swing and a ball that goes down by Maria Moraci. And now the question is, did the point go down for Greenup or not? And they say it did off of a tip. So give the point to Moraci, and she'll go back and do the service. Abby Johnson back on for Greenup. She'll replace Molly Keys. 7-point lead for the Rams. Moraci off the tape, dug out there by Mackey. Here's Holbrook on a free ball, just tips it over near sideline and gets it through. Moraci with a diving attempt, could not come up with the dig. 13-5. Mackey, the libero for the Rams, for the service. There's Keys, back up front. And a big block at the net by Holbrook again as she got Russell. 14-8 the lead, 14-5 the lead is out to 8. Holbrook and Rigsby have been big at the net tonight. There's Stevens, Gordon. Russell lobs it across to the back row. Haddix brings it off to Reed. Reed with a big dart. It's dug out there by Keys. And Gordon lofts it across, but it's out of bounds. And the lead is 10, the largest it's ever been in the contest. Keys. Here's Russell down the pipe. Haddix keeps it alive. Mackey will push it across. Newman out of the back row. Reed fires it through the block. It's dug out on the back row. Abby Johnson will try to push it across, and she can't come up with it. 16-5. Rams rolling here in set 3, trying to close it out in straight sets and push their district record to 4-1. With Lewis County coming in here Monday night and a chance to wrap up the district. And that time, Mackey fires a dart into the face of the net. So the service error puts it back in the hands of Greenup from the service line, and it's Lakin Russell. And she follows the suit of Mackey. So back-to-back service errors. And Gianna Cook's going to check in for Raceland. For Shaylee Holbrook, Shaylin Newman comes off. Rigsby is back on. So now you've got Rigsby and Reed up front. Cook's service received on the far sideline. Greenup can't play it, and the point goes down for Raceland, 18-6. Good service there on the back row. Johnson puts it across. There's Mackey. Haddix brings it near side to Reed on a free ball. Fannin up front. And a nice push across by Powell as she finds the soft spot of the defense and gets it down for the point, 18-7. And Addison Gordon back to the service line for the Musketeers. Deep service, and that one's out of bounds. Mackey took a close look at that one and watched it tumble across the end line. Hale back off. Back on is Brown Morris and Cody Haddix with the service for the Rams. And Stevens and Johnson converge in the same piece of real estate. 20-7, Raceland leading. Here's Fannin on a free ball. Cook on the back row. Haddix lofts it back in the middle. Big swing there by Reed, but a block by Powell as Greenup will pick up the point. 20-8. Racy back on as she'll replace Amanda Hatfield. And Abby Johnson with the service. Haddix leaves it off to Brown Morris. Brown Morris goes cross court with the attack and the kill. 21-8. Rams 4 points away from closing this out in straight sets. And Gracie Reed to the service line. Stevens on the back row. That's Powell. Free ball lofted over. Reed out back. Here's Haddix off to Brown Morris. Brown Morris with a cross-court attack. Dug out on a diving save there by Stevens. Here's Powell. Reed on the back row. Near side Spurlock with the attack. Stevens off the back. There's Brown Morris. Haddix pushes it across off the tape. Back to Fannin. Blocked at the net, off the tape, lofted back across. We play on. A great volley here by both sides. Here's Powell deep. Reed. Now Rigsby. Stevens steps forward. Free ball lofted over by her, and nobody's home. Haddix was rotating forward, getting ready to get in the system, and nobody rotated into her zone. And the ball falls down for the point for Greenup County, who trails it now 21-9. And Peyton Powell with the service. Good service off the tape. Spurlock plays it. Here's Rigsby with a dart off the far sideline that's off the court of the Palace and over top of the Greenup County bench for the point. 22-9. Rams rolling here in set 3. Cook off, Holbrook back on. Rams 3 points away from closing this one out in straight sets. And moving to 4-1 in the district. Here's Rigsby. Puts this one in play. Russell. Rigsby on the back row. Here's Haddix. Now Mackey with a deep attack. And that's a dart almost into the basket. As that one was over top of the Greenup County bench and off the backboard. What a big swing there by Reagan Mackey. Rigsby. Russell with a dart. Rigsby digs it out. Haddix leaves it off for Mackey. And Mackey winds up and comes up empty. 23-10. Fannin back to the service line. Newman back in for Rigsby, who'll go to the back row. Newman will receive. Mackey on the bump. Haddix a free ball. There's a big swing at the net. Free ball by Spurlock. Moracy, big swing. That one was out. And it's match point for the Rams. 24-10. And Sophie Hale do the service, trying to close it out in straight sets. Stevens back up front. Big block at the net. Put it down for the point and the match as Holbrook sends it away. And the Rams win this one in straight sets. Final score here in set number 3, 25-10. And they win the match by a final score of 3-0. With the victory, Raceland moves to 21-9 on the season and moves to 4-1 in district play. With the loss, Greenup County falls to 9-20. They are now 1-5. They close out district play, and they await who will be the 1 seed in the upcoming district tournament. If Greenup County wins over Lewis County, then that right there will put Raceland in the 1 seed. Lewis and Russell will then play out for the 2. But we'll see how things work out at the top. But we'll have all the action right here Monday night. Approximately 7 o'clock is scheduled first serve. Senior night, so we may be a little bit tardy for game time start, but we will carry the senior night festivities for the 4 seniors for the Rams right here on Cool TV. Big thanks to our crew tonight. Mason May, our executive producer, Hunter Masters on camera work, and, of course, all the great staff here at Raceland Worthington High School. Always appreciative of all their support for the media program here at Raceland. Rams sweep it tonight, 25-18, 25-19, 25-10, as they move to 21-9 on the season with a victory tonight over the Musketeers. For Hunter Masters, Mason May, and all the great folks at the Cool Hit Sports Network, I'm James Collier saying good night from the Palace on Cool Hit Sports Network.